Are you a diver that dreams of diving the islands of the Caribbean? What if I told you there was a way to dive a different island each day? There is. It's through cruise travel. Hi, I'm Sarah, and welcome to Sarah's Scuba and Travel channel. Many people think of cruises for shopping, gambling, partying, and more. But cruises offer an awesome opportunity to dive in some beautiful locations, which means you can dive a different Caribbean island each day your cruise is in port. When selecting your cruise vacation, take a look at the ports of call, how many hours you have in each port, and how many ports versus days at sea are built into the itinerary. These are all factors that I look at when I'm booking a cruise and influence my decision, along with the time of year, cruise line, and cost. The hours in port is important to consider because you want to make sure you will have plenty of time for diving. The longer you're in port, the better. Some dive trips may last around 4 hours, while others may be as long as 6 hours. It is better to give yourself as much time as possible. Another thing to keep in mind is how many consecutive days you are in port. Your cruise may have 3 or 6 days in a row of new ports and islands. Try to decide how much diving you will want to do, but also what are you physically capable of doing. Diving is a sport and it takes physical and psychological energy. You may decide you want a break after a day or two of diving to rest or do different activities. That's okay. The rules of diving are that you can call off a dive for any reason, and that even means in the planning process. If you know you don't want to dive multiple days in a row, decide which ports of call are essential dive locations for you, and that will help you to begin to plan your days. If you're not sure which ports to dive in, I recommend talking to other divers, asking at your local dive shop, and checking out videos and articles online. See if there are unique dive sites that you would be interested in diving as well. Now, many times you can book diving shore excursions through the cruise line. However, the shore excursions are significantly higher since the cruise line is also making money off of your purchase, possibly as high as 50% of the purchase price. In addition, the boats are much larger operations, so the cruise line and the dive operator have more tickets to sell. However, there are a few benefits to booking through the cruise line that I want to acknowledge. First, the cruise line has worked with the dive operators to make sure they meet certain standards and follow protocols to maintain their contracts with the cruise line. Second, you will see recommendations from cruise lines that you should not make reservations with unaffiliated vendors since they cannot guarantee your return time. See, if something goes wrong and you're delayed returning to the port on a shore excursion booked through the cruise line, the cruise will wait for you to return to the ship before departing, even if it's past the scheduled departure time. However, if you make a reservation with a dive operator and there's a problem and you cannot return to the ship by the boarding time, it is not guaranteed that the cruise will wait for you. In order to get back on the cruise, you will need to fly to the next port at your own expense. If I haven't scared you away yet, that's good, because there have been times where I've booked with independent dive operators only to find out that I ended up on the cruise shore excursion anyway, for less money. The dive operators on the island are familiar with the cruise industry and the cruise ship schedules. They know how to plan dives, where to go, and how to make sure you return to your ship in time for departure. Booking your dives with independent operators usually means cheaper prices and smaller operations, which means less divers. Another benefit of booking outside of the cruise lines is that many operators will take you to sites away from where all of the cruise shore excursions go. That means better dive sites for you, with less divers and snorkelers in the water and less boats in the water. This creates a safer, more enjoyable experience. The best way to find a tour operator is to talk to other divers. Ask around for recommendations. If you are a member of a dive club, ask if anyone has ever visited the ports your cruise is stopping in and who they recommend diving with. Also, ask your dive shop, especially if your dive shop offers dive travel. They may have recommendations of operators they have used or worked with before. If you don't have access to these outlets, read reviews online. Remember though, when you're reading reviews, you want to look for consistency. What are the common reviews and comments people are saying? This gives you a better overall evaluation of the operator. Do not focus on 1 or 2 reviews, whether they're really good or really bad. You want to see the overall rating for the company. Everyone has a bad day, whether it's the diver or the dive operator. You never know how someone else's expectations, level of experience, personal choices, etc. may have contributed to their overall experience. Dive operators cannot control the weather, the diving conditions, equipment breaks, rope malfunctions, etc. So look for a common theme when you're making your decision on an operator. Once you have identified a dive operator, reach out to the operator via email or phone. Make sure you provide the date, estimated arrival time, estimated departure time, name of your cruise ship, number of divers with certification level, preferred dive sites, preferred diving, whether it's shore, rack, boat, etc., and any equipment needs you may have. This will allow them to first determine if they will be able to accommodate you and give you a proper quote. Before leaving for your vacation, I highly recommend purchasing dive insurance and possibly travel insurance from Divers Alert Network, or DAN, if you do not already have it. They offer plans that will cover dive accidents, medical care, evacuations, lost gear, and more. This is very important coverage to carry, no matter where you are diving, but especially while on vacation. Not all countries have decompression chambers or are equipped to take care of diving-related injuries. DAN will handle everything, getting airlifted to the nearest facility that is trained and equipped to provide you with the necessary treatments. You do not want to have to worry about medical care, covering the cost of travel, lost equipment, etc. if something unfortunate were to happen while you were diving, especially outside of your country of residence. I highly recommend reviewing their website and finding a plan that is best for you. Regardless of whether I am diving locally or internationally, I always dive with DAN Insurance. You can find a link to their website in the video description below. Also, prior to leaving, confirm your reservation with the dive operators as well as any outstanding balances that need to be paid on the day of your dive. Complete any online information and liability forms that need to be done prior to your arrival or prior to diving. Make sure you pack plenty of cash to tip the crew and pay for necessary transportation, as well as paying cash-only park fees and permit fees. And also, don't forget your certification card. Have a wonderful vacation, and I hope you have an awesome diving experience. Thank you for watching. If you would like to support future productions, please buy me a snack through the link in the description below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. You can also join the Facebook group and follow me on Instagram.